It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
It's you liberals who have lifted them up, Howard.
Paul, you conservatives make a mistake. You can't afford to strangle hope in people. Without hope, people become dangerous.
No, Howard. You liberals have let them invade our society. You give them jobs, political jobs.
Paul, you missed the point. It's only the smart ones we move up.
That makes it even worse.
No, we have to move them up. If we leave a smart one in the ghetto, he might develop into a leader against us. But if we raise him up into white society, we neutralize him.
It really boils down to our ability to accept. We don't need pessimism.
What he means by pessimism is resistance. And that's what COINTELPRO was all about, stopping the resistance.
I know you're out there. I can feel you now. I know that you're afraid. You're afraid of us. You're afraid of change.
We hide it in plain sight. One of Plato's greatest works was the allegory of the cave. I feel in order to understand the political matrix, we need only to look into this allegory. We first have to open our minds to the possibility everything is not as it seems. That things we've always known to be truth may be lies. For if we can't perceive the lies we've ingested, we can't see the bars on our mental conditioning. For that is how you walk out of the cave and see the political matrix. Oh shoot, a little too loud. Hello everybody, welcome to the Political Matrix. I'm your host, Marcus Young Morpheus Cage, and Till is on the road. She'll be joining us as soon as she can, so she may be in and out. Sorry for being out of breath. Just ran to the room, saw some problems I needed to fix real quick, but I think we're good to go and we can start our show. Seen some crazy things that have been going on, and here to talk about it. Saw some news on the Luigi Mangione front. Being a Navy vet, I definitely want to talk about what's going on the USS Abraham Lincoln. And I think I can shed a little bit of extra detail. I'm pretty sure you guys have heard it, a lot of this, but I don't know. I guess I just feel I can really feel what these people are going through, and understand what's going on as far as being in their shoes. So not to the degree that they're going into, because they've experienced something that is like record breaking, that's like unheard of. So I'll try to shed a little light on that and talk about it. I ran across this story. It was interesting by Pablo Torre, and he was talking about some of the things that have been going on with this Lakers deal. And so, though I've always grown up being, a sports fan, and watching basketball was one of my favorite pastimes. I haven't really watched NBA as of late, but this story caught my attention because there's so many things going on, and it's not necessarily clear on its face, what it exactly is, but it kind of leans in a certain way. So I wanted to talk about that. And I guess before we get into it, let me say hello to everybody who's out there. I see Yonina is back with us. Hopefully you're doing well. I know you've had a bunch of stuff going on, so glad to see you back. Ed, Game.Film, glad to see you here also. Lainey, of course, always glad to see you. I'm going to reach out to you soon. Hopefully, if you're free next week, I would love to have you on the show. Kate, good to see you also, says hi there. I was just listening to the short video from the Undercurrent about what took down Sears. I need to look into that. That seems very fascinating. Definitely great memories of Sears back in the day. Brew Bones, a lady of the show, is here supporting. Thank you so much. Definitely appreciate it. Chamonique, let me put these comments on the screen so you guys can all see. Chamonique says, hello, what are your thoughts on Haven Bernardes and Poetic Flacco? Haven Bernardes and Poetic Flacco. I don't know. You have to probably cue me in on what's going on there. I'm wondering, is he the Is he the Latino streamer who's kind of been trying to do the Chud the Builder thing? I don't know. Um, Although I watch Poetic Flacco, I don't catch everything, but try to. Let's see. So before I hop, so I'll get you the details. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Um, I guess before we get going, uh, why I was away last week. No, I've been exposed as FBA. Interesting. I'll definitely have to look at that. If you have my socials, can you send it to me? I can find it. Never mind. You don't have to. I can find it. But yeah, I was away last week. I just couldn't get into or Javen. Is it Javen or Haven? Not sure the pronunciation. But yeah, last week had some tragic news. One of my neighbors and I'm not going to go into detail on what entirely happened, but um I guess what was it? I normally go out and do my walking a little bit later at night, and I was getting ready to go out and walk. I didn't feel it for some reason. Just kind of felt maybe a little lazier. I was like, well, I'll just go walk another day. And Liz was gonna do laundry, and she was saying that like, nah, and she kept going back and forth on whether to do laundry or not, and she decided not to do it. And so it was around 9:15 ish, 9:30 ish when we're gonna go. And so oh, I would have been walking, she'd have been doing laundry. But anyway, at that very time, later on, I guess throughout the night, she kept saying that she was seeing, all kind of flashing lights and everything, and that police or whatever were out there. And I didn't hear anything. I was sleeping through it. I mean, we switched AC. We had I just installed a new AC unit, but the old one that we had was very loud, so you couldn't really hear as much. And then we normally crank the TV up pretty loud, so you don't hear very much that's going on. And there's always some kind of noise, police rolling up and down the street, helicopters flying over, airplanes, people zipping up and down the street. So there's always a lot of noise in general. So didn't think much about it. Hey, what's up, Warren? Good to see you. um but the next morning, got up, and Liz was about to leave to go somewhere, and there was caution tape. We couldn't get out of the driveway. um and so we went out to see what happened. There's cop cars and stuff blocking up the street, and then there's caution tape about two doors down from our neighbor. And normally when I'm getting out of work, there's an older gentleman who's normally sitting out in his car. I mean, not in his car, but he's normally sitting next to his car, in a chair. I guess maybe I can adjust that. It looks like I'm starting to fade away a little bit. Um, he's sitting normally next to his truck in his driveway. And I always see him, and always say hi to him when I'm getting off of work. Hey, buenas tardes, cómo estás? And say, just kind of neighborly. And I'm not sure if it's his grandson or his son, but there's always a couple of younger guys, and they're always, hey, hey, how you doing, man? And I talk to him for a couple of minutes, and hey, man, anytime you want, man, come over and come have a beer with us. And there or sometimes they'll just give me a beer. Hey, man, it's Friday, go have a beer, go relax. And one of the guys who was like always, the most welcoming to me, the friendliest, give me a beer. I talk to him all the time. He was killed the other night. Well, I guess it would have been a week ago now. And I guess about 9:30 at night, they were all sitting out there, and one thing led to another, and he was shot and killed. And the older gentleman, which I was referencing, that I always say hi to and everything, like Liz saw him like that morning, and had blood all over him and everything. And so it was just really, and it was just a very sad time. And, especially getting off work, his memorial that they have like out in front of their yard where he's at, and you see the candles lit and everything. And so it's just a really, I don't know, it just, my mind was on thinking about what his family is going through and how traumatic to lose somebody like that. I mean, he was only 42. And so, say RIP to Edgar and his family. I guess he had a wife and 2 kids. And I mean, I don't know what transpired, but whatever they were arguing about or whatever, there's no reason it should ever lead to something like that. I mean, I don't know if it was alcohol involved or whatever it is, but I don't think that there's nothing that he said or did that deserved that. And like, I just been thinking a lot about their family and what's went on with him. And such a nice guy. I mean, over the last couple of years of, and I kind of feel bad, like I never went over there to have that drink with him. And um, I'm probably gonna one of these days I want to go over and talk to his grandfather. Or I'm not sure if it's his grandfather or his father. And I don't know, maybe I'll go have that beer with him, the one that I didn't get to have with Edgar, and give my condolences to the family. But in a situation like this, I wanted to kind of keep my distance because, it's a lot of close family grieving, and I don't want to insert myself into that. Um, you know, that my sadness over what's going on for them, I just felt like I want to give the family their breathing time to process and deal, and then have my time to go over and talk to them later, and hopefully you know any words that I have can help in some way, which I know that it probably wouldn't. But I don't know, I don't know, I guess I'm just rambling a little bit about it. But I don't know, I just feel really sad for that family. And you know definitely been praying for them. And hopefully they get through this, and they're able to find the peace and understands God's purpose in this. um but yeah, I'll leave on that note. Again, RIP to Edgar. It was Edgar de Santiago Artechi Artechi, sorry. um but yeah, so let's go on to the next story and go through kind of the news rundown stuff right now. Remember, gun violence is not the case. Have cooler heads. I don't care, even if it is somebody you absolutely despise. Violence is not the answer. Always try to find other means of handling things before you get to that level. Um, so I've seen that we got really, really bad situations going on as far as weather phenomenons right now. Let's see, in Indonesia, thousands evacuate after Indonesian quake kills 53. And there've been all kind of aftershocks hampering the rescue efforts. It's a pretty bad situation. I think it was oh, there we go. It says around 5,000 people have been evacuated over a magnitude 7.7 earthquake rocked eastern Indonesia, killing at least 53, blocking roads and causing landslides, authorities said Sunday. They added that more than 130 people have been injured, with broken bones also. Saturday's quake was the Southeast Asia nation's deadliest since 2022 quake. Killed hundreds in West Java. More than 3,300 people in Indonesia, Sika region, one of the hardest hit, self-evacuated or were in sports arena, according to the country's national disaster mitigation agency. So that's going on. That was one of the crazy, stories that I saw. And, hopefully prayers to those people also. My heart bleeds anytime I hear, senseless loss of life. whether it be through a person's hands or whether it be through these crazy storms and stuff. Um, Also, right now we have another. Actually, let's put this. I can put this on the screen and share. Yeah, 42. That's. I mean, it's a very young age, and I think of I'm only a little bit older than him. That's somebody I would have been in high school with. That's somebody roughly my age, and I haven't been touched by you know, that kind of situation in a while. Um, a couple of years ago, my cousin, his he was shot by his own son. So that was a rough time for our family. And then when I was in high school, I dealt with a lot of peers who died through gang violence. So it never gets easier, you know, seeing this. And anytime I see somebody who dies in this senseless way, it always triggers back to those other people that in my family or friends or people have been close to me that have been lost through senseless gun violence. Um, Let me share this next story. Um, this is I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to Hurricane Lala. I don't know why they have to name them, names like this. It makes it sound endearing until you hear the damage that it's doing. More than 200,000 customers without power, and at least two hospitals on the Big Island were operating on generators. Forecasters warned of flooding, and residents were told to stay put. There's some of what it looked like here. I heard that it's winds of roughly around 75 miles per hour winds. Um, so right there saying sustained 65 right now. Um, let's read a little bit. The latest: emergency workers in Hawaii combed through soggy wreckage on Sunday in an effort to assess the damage wrought by Layla, a tropical storm that passed just south of the islands overnight. Layla was downgraded from a Cat 1 hurricane earlier Sunday morning. Did not make landfall, but the storm's path was close enough to flood roads, wreck homes, and topple trees. Some of the worst damage may have occurred in rural areas along the southern edge of Hawaii's Big Island, but falling electrical lines slowed traffic to the area. And what I've heard is that a lot of the very rural areas have definitely been impacted. For those who haven't lived near areas which have hurricanes, even if the hurricane doesn't hit you, the outer winds, if they get close enough, can do a lot of damage and make life pretty miserable for people there. And so you can still have down trees, houses falling, um, flying debris that can cause all kind of injuries and damage. Power lines going down. You can deal with possible electrocutions and things like that. And then even after the storm is passed, because of all the soggy, the rain and that sits in the standing water, it breeds all the different insects, and you have to worry about different diseases that can come from that. Also, just amount of flooding can lead to uh, that going into the houses and then starting to create mold and things like that. That can be long-term issues. So anytime these issues go on, there's so many things that you have to factor in and think about that could aid in making this process worse. So hopefully for those people in that situation that they get the help that they need. I'm sorry to hear that, John. Say your son would be 42 this year. Yeah, pain doesn't get any better. We just learn to manage. Um, yeah, definitely hitting some records with some of these quakes. It's looking pretty crazy, some of the stuff that's going on. There could be many reasons for it. Some people go to conspiracies. I think some of it just has to do with um, the industrialization of, you know, the world itself. As more countries become more industrial, we're putting more things into the air, more pollution. All of those things are affecting, you know, affecting the world that we're living in. And I think as more and more of these countries that were primarily a rural underdeveloped country or nation, as more of those kind of advance, I think we're going to have more of these things, especially as we push more with these data centers and stuff, with all the drilling and mining and those things are going to lead to more and more of these problems. That's what I worry. But I'm waiting till I know more on the after effects of that story. Had an interesting story that kind of I don't know. I want to put this out to the chat and ask: did you guys hear about some of the comments that were made by Oracle female spokesman? I don't know if you guys heard that or not. I'm probably playing with fire, starting off with a story like that right off the bat, but it's something that it caught my attention. Some of the comments that she made. So here, I'll put this on the screen. And apologies if I'm moving kind of fast through these stories. Let me know. And that's right. I'll pop back over and double check the chat a little bit more so I can engage you guys. So I'm not just speeding past your comments. Apologies. Says no idea of the Oracle story. Okay, yeah, that's the reason why I think it's good to bring it up. I saw it first on Instagram, I want to say, and then the only people I saw that's been covering it has been Breaking Points. Oddly enough, which, you know, we don't have to love you know, their commentary, but I mean, we can always take the story that's been brought up. So here, let me show you guys this, and let me mute up.
Executive who was proudly bragging about the quote unquote scary technology that they gave to the IDF to deploy in Gaza. Let's go ahead and take a listen to this.
You hit our website in an Arab country and you saw your entire screen filled with an Israeli flag, which said, not only we stand with Israel, we stand with our employees in Israel, we stand with the people of Israel, we stand with the military establishment of Israel. There's a few things that we did that I really can't talk about, to be honest, because to advance the agenda for the Israeli military. But our teams did a lot. We have some really profoundly scary technology at Oracle, and we wanted to make sure that it was available for the effort. Let's just say that, okay? I was in the Kiryat, and I go in and I meet with everyone you'd imagine I meet with. And on my way out, I run into, 5 of my team who are all in uniform working. And to be honest with you, it's like my proudest moment.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty disgusting. I mean, this is just sort of the rhetoric.
Yes, so Oracle, which, if you guys have been paying attention what's been going on with Oracle as of late, Oracle has been kind of on a buying spree. Oracle has been, I mean, I think about a couple of years back, I didn't even know what Oracle did. Now I run into Oracle in so many different ways. A lot of their software is being used in a lot of different companies. And I'll let you guys do your research into that. But not only that, Oracle is doing I'll say the CEOs and major investors of Oracle are not only engaged with, really helping with the nation of Israel and IDF and their army and military and what's been going over the last couple of years, but they've also been getting more into the news business. They've been getting more into entertainment. They've been getting more into, yes, huge into the databases also. And I don't know, it's a little scary what they're doing and the power that is being accumulated by this company, and by the people who are attached to this company. Mind you, I mean, that's part of why I don't even do anything on TikTok anymore. um I get on there to like go back and forth with some friends and laugh about a video here and there, but I do not feel comfortable at all putting anything on Oracle. I mean, not Oracle, but TikTok. But I mean, you might as well be doing it. You might as well be putting it on Oracle if you're putting stuff on TikTok. Unless your content that you're putting up is, completely apolitical, or I wouldn't even say apolitical. I'd say unless you're putting up content that is non-political, that you're doing some dance videos, some cooking recipes, or something funny, I wouldn't put anything on TikTok. TikTok, I believe, is going to be used for nothing but a propaganda website pretty soon. And they've already been trying to push a lot more of that, especially if you get into some of the news media content. And if it has anything to do with foreign policy, that's the approach that it's going to. So I would be very, very careful of being on TikTok these days. I've heard of plenty of people where plenty of content creators who are in the news who are in the news and media sphere, who put up stuff on multiple platforms. Some of their work that they've done on TikTok has led to getting their channels taken down, whether that be on YouTube, Twitch, some of these other platforms. TikTok is using that to just go after you. And so once you kind of get on their radar, in a sense, they're going after you, kind of the same way that lady said about if you're into an Arab country, how basically they're watching you and tracking you and doing all that. It's leading for a very dystopian future. And if the people who are running Oracle have the power to keep buying up more and more stuff, I mean, whether it be, from what Larry Ellison or his son David Ellison or any of the other people who are attached to it, you should definitely be pretty worried about it. Not that YouTube is much better. I'm not saying that. I mean, it's still got to, really walk on eggshells on this platform. But TikTok, I think, is far worse right now, because with everything that went on over the last couple of years as far as Gaza, the Israel's 14, 15, 35, 75 front war that they're pursuing now. The media is one of their avenues that they're fighting in, and they've targeted as TikTok was one of the big deciding factors for a lot of the popularity of their country dwindling, and a lot of people having a very negative opinion of it. I mean, I've noticed myself that I've been getting. I remember years back, I used to wonder, why come I never get any polls or surveys? I always wanted to do those things, and I was never ever getting reached out to them. Now all of a sudden I'm getting reached out to quite often on some of these polls and surveys, and plenty of them with I can't remember, they call themselves the Friends for Peace or something like that, which is a group which basically advocates very heavily for positive viewpoints of Israel. I'm like, well, why? I don't know if they're just so broadly pushing this narrative out there, or so much money is backing it, but it seems like all of the people with money who own things in this country and run things in this country have if not that be their primary focus, it is definitely within their top three focuses. And I don't know, it's kind of creepy to me how this little tiny country over there with a small population within the United States also is one of the biggest focuses for the businesses in this country and for our government, that they are the priority for some reason. over the United States itself. And so I don't know, it's just something that if you try to say, well, these people have a certain amount of power, and then you get attacked for noticing that power by the people who are using that power. I mean, it's kind of like you can't say that you don't have all this power, but yet if anybody says one word cross with you, you show a massive amount of power. I mean, yeah, I agree. Not exactly a country, more of a nation state. I would call it just, I don't know. I don't know what I would call it. I would call it, especially as of modern day right now, a group of, I'm going to be careful. I'm not going to say that. I just think it's a country that, or a nation state, or a place which I would like to avoid as much as possible. I do not. Never send. Don't waste your time trying to send me on a trip to go there. I will never go to that place, especially not in any unforeseen future. I feel that it is a tyrannical government with, if it's not every person in there, I'm not saying it is every person or even most people. I do know that it's a very toxic environment that I want nothing to do with in any shape and form. And I kind of wish that they would just go off and do their own thing separate from the rest of us and not feel such a need that our country needs to prop them up or be engaged in whatever crap they want to do. They want to go on a Rambo like state and fight every freaking country in the Middle East. Go do it on your own. Quit dragging us into it. And I could say more, but I'll leave it there. I have thoughts. Warren says maybe there's some hidden terrestrial power of extra persuasion behind it, explains the amount of power they have, or they have a shit ton of blackmail on everybody. I think that's part of it, but I think what it is let's see. Should I say, should I not? Should I say my thoughts? You know what? I'm just gonna speak my mind. And hopefully you guys can pick up what I'm laying down. There's been certain people in higher echelons who align with this current group of people, and many of them have had power going back for a very long time and have done a really good job at not really showing their hand that they have some of this power. And as they went around, they have worked in a concerted effort together to yield power. And I would say, in yielding that power, part of it had to come with anonymity. And so, by hiding behind the scenes, um, they've been able to accomplish a great deal. And um, as you kind of put yourself as an organized group, you're able to get very far. I feel like the more organized and together you are, the more powerful you can be. If you look at the various nations which have power, throughout the millennia, they were a concerted effort of power, and they all had a shared culture, shared identity, and they were a tight knit group of people, and they used that to be able to bludgeon others and amass more and more power. And as that passed from nation to nation to nation, peoples to peoples, tribes to tribes, um, there's been a tribe that was able to come into the modern world with immense amount of power by always kind of sitting a layer a layer protected, not always on the front lines, while allowing much more powerful people to destroy each other and able to play enemies against enemies, while I believe even playing their own populace, while even using their own people as manipulation. And I feel like America did that also. So it's kind of maybe a little bit of respect the hustle. Um, if you think of America, how it started out, um, with slavery in a sense, and with the westward expansion and taking over this country, and stealing land and territory. It came from you know circling the wagons around their tribe, their people, their colonies, and fighting a divide and conquer strategy across the whole landmass. And as they did that, they eventually, as more white people came into this country to deal with, the large number of indigenous who were still here, and to deal with, as blacks became freed, to deal with the freed population, they grouped themselves together in an even more tighter knit unit of, uh, let's get even these new whites, which we didn't really consider a part of us, the Irish, the Italians, the Germans coming in. Let's now we're all going to be white, and we'll use that whiteness as a bludgeon against everybody else who's non-white. And as this dichotomy was going on, that certain other tribe, which was amassing power throughout Europe, and you know playing enemies against other enemies. And when you do that, eventually people find out that you were the one kind of pulling strings, and playing people against people, and it leaves bitterness. And I think that led to many of the expulsions that happened, because of, oh, I'm going to act like I'm your friend, but I'm going to get you to fight for me, then I can benefit off of you, and in using people. And you know as you set money in accounts, money works for money better than anything, especially how this banking system works and accruement works, as far as savings and investments. And when a group of people is kind of like, I don't want to say created the game, I'll say mastered the game and took it to new areas and new heights. As they were able to do that, they were able to corner a market that was just being brought up, and it left for very, very powerful people throughout certain ranks. Um, and just like how the white people of power in America used all of the new white immigrants, for insulation against, the savages, you know, the natives, the non-whites, the freed slaves, as they use the lower income whites to be as a buffer against them, you know, letting that division go. It allowed for them to keep one group suppressed, while highly taxing and pickpocketing the other group that you're giving slightly more privilege to. And as people across the seas saw this gambit that was going on, and they were already doing that to a degree, and playing this divide and conquer game in Europe, made it easy for them to come into a country which focuses more on money than anything, to be able to manipulate it, because America's a country, or the United States is a country that has no soul. This is a country that is basically a corporation, and has been a corporation since the beginning. That's the reason why I always find it hard when I hear people talk about implementing a new system. You literally have to unmake the country, in a sense. I mean, the banking and stuff like that went on in New York was basically put together by the Dutch East Indian Trading Company. The pirating that was going on throughout the Caribbean, and the Jack Sparrows and all that stuff that they make fun of, and the Blackbeard and all that stuff, Long John Silver, all of that is Well, it's both West Dutch Indies Company in the Caribbean, but you had the um dang, I'm getting tongue tied. But you had both, which basically they're two birds of the same coin. Um they're two birds of the same coin. And they also infiltrated into the British crown. And so with that infiltration, that's how they were able to corner the market in many ways, and this country became a corporation. And when you when a corporation always needs capital to move, and other people have cornered the market on capital investment and literally created modern forms of banking, you're going to be at the mercy of these said people. Went on a tangent there and kind of talked a little bit, but hopefully you guys just get what I'm saying. I understand why certain groups of people have had this power. This is something that's been inherited and passed down over generations, and each generation within that tribe was taught how to make this work. Now, I'm not talking about as a whole. It's never as a whole. It's always a handful, because let's just use, because it's safe to talk about the Spaniards, for instance, right? The the Spanish royal family, even the British royal family, they're the ones who decided to have their endeavors around the world. They're the ones who decided which countries that they were going to take. Even going into like the Roman Catholic Church, those popes were putting out those papal bulls deciding which countries that they can enslave people from. The masses of those countries, the 95% or more, had no clue or no power on any of those things. They were basically living as byproducts of the system that they were already in. And it's the same thing which I point out, which I don't know, I guess I can lay this out. Michael will probably come in here later on, and I'll leave room if he wants to hop on and talk about, because he wanted to talk about communism and all that. I've always argued the premise: governments run by either either the malice of the person who's running that institution or organization, or the positivity of that person and the said good nature. You've had throughout history, you've had kings which have been, yeah, Abby Dews, Michael, yeah. You've had kings which have been benevolent kings. You've had horrendous kings. You've had um on a small scale, forms of socialist nations which have done a good job, and you've had ones which have run horrendously. You've had capitalist countries which have ran somewhat decently, and you've had ones which have run horrendously. I've only argued that these are only tools, and it matters how a person wields the tool. You can use a hammer to build up a nation and build a house, build whatever you want with it, or you can use a hammer to destroy. I mean, think about it. A sledgehammer's main purpose is destruction, but hammers are known for building wood structures more than anything. So, me, I've always laid with the premise of it matters how you decide to wield this power, how you decide to wield this government, this arrangement, this cosmos, in a sense. How do you want to wield it? Because plenty of things start off well-meaning and can go downhill. And just because we institute a new government, does that fix internal greed in a person? Does that fix corruption? Does that fix dishonesty, manipulation? I don't believe so. I believe if we can switch out another government tomorrow, how do we also deal with the structures that are already, abound? How do you deal with? Never mind. I'll save all this. I'll save all this for next time. For when I talk to Michael, I'll save it. for him to just explain it to me. It's not, and it's not, I don't want to go as an attack. It's just, I truly don't understand how just switching a different government automatically fixes everything. Oh yeah, Warren, I'm 1,000% in agreement. Greed is worldwide. How do you fix that greed? And even if you got rid of greed here in the United States, and let's say you do like conservatives claim they want limited government, and you actually did shrink the government, you actually did only focus on matters at home, and you shrunk the military down, are you 1,000% sure that some other country wouldn't rise up and decide that because of America's um, monetary level and the perks of how it runs, that, you know, would it be worth it to try to invade and conquer? If you go to like the Odyssey, that's literally what, the war in Troy was all about, conquering them for their resources. Most wars are about conquering for resources. And we live in that's the reason why what Teal was doing, when she brought our guest on the week before, and he was talking about how, about the phone call. I think that we have, more than anything, at the heart of it, a mental health crisis. A mental health crisis worldwide, and I think it's been put on by greed and selfishness and an environment that is taught everyone to worry about self. And as long as you take care of yourself, you take care of your people, your independent small tribe, everybody else be damned. How do you break that mentality after changing the system? Even changing that system, how do you move to a different viewpoint? How do you see the world differently? How do you take a person who's been abused their whole life and comfort them into, you don't have to be fearful anymore? I think it's a mental health thing. I think it's a healing process that needs to be dealt with, that can't be just simply fixed with a change in a political ideology. I don't know. I'll leave it there. Like Kate says here, like the born again Christians like to say, those are my blessings, bro. Go get your own. Hilarious. They don't say it, but they say it. They really do. They don't say it, but they say it. In one breath, they're always talking about, the meek shall inherit the earth, take care of thy neighbor. And the next moment, they're like, well, why we got to pay for these people? You just read about that in the book about taking care of thy neighbor, but you don't care about that. Whatever. We'll leave it at that. I agree, Warren. I agree, but I know most people don't want to hear that. So I'm gonna leave that for a conversation, maybe with me, you, Lainey. I know Lainey would definitely love to have that conversation. We've talked about have another segment where we just talk, beliefs and faith and stuff. And I definitely enjoyed the last time I talked with Lainey about it, and I think it'll be interesting, especially somebody as knowledgeable in the subject and has a different perspective than many who their example that they look to comes from these fake people who uses religion as a blanket to, I don't know, make them good or make them appear to be good when their behavior speaks a whole different language. Says intelligence, love, understanding is not in your DNA. I believe it is, John. I do. I truly believe it is in our DNA. I believe circumstances force us into a fight or flight situation. I was listening to a video. Somebody said about their reasons for moving from LA. And they were saying that they feel like living in LA. They stay in a permanent fight or flight mode. Um, and I was like, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. It doesn't explain why everybody acts like an asshole out here, but it does explain it for some people. When you make everything so expensive and you make everybody become cutthroat, I got to make sure that I can't share with you because I don't know what's coming down the road. If this happens to me, that happens to me, now I'm screwed. And then they don't think about it just like that clear cut, but it is what's circling in the back of their minds, I believe, and what pushes their motivations for some of that that fuck you pay me mentality. That, well, I need to raise wages every year. I mean not wages, but I need to raise the rent prices every year because I need to make sure I maximize. Said maybe because I think idiocracy, I think we're already living in a form of idiocracy. I just think that idiocracy is an exaggerated form, making people almost to a caveman like level. Um, but in some ways, though people still speak more, they're able to speak in a normal dialect and sound somewhat literate. Doesn't mean they are. I mean, many of them can't read sentences. Many of them cannot do simple problem solving. And we have a lot of people in society that without their phones, they can't do much of anything. I mean, we have a whole generation of kids who are literally living off chat GPT. Um, I got to put this on the screen. I'll get back on the topic soon, but I got to put this on the screen. How many people are secretly wishing for the zombie apocalypse because they finally imagine they be the next Rick Grimes instead of one of those fucking zombies? I think there's a lot of people who think that way. You got to remember, most people see themselves as their hero, as the hero in their own story. Everybody wants to be Batman. Nobody wants to be Robin. Hell, nobody wants to be Alfred. But you got to realize in reality, somebody's Batman, somebody's Robin, somebody's Alfred, somebody's Commissioner Gordon, somebody is that cop that's putting the caution tape out on the street. Somebody is you know the person who's running around warning somebody. Somebody is the secretary. And I just think that more people don't acknowledge the roles that they're actually in real life because everybody is the hero in their own story. I realize in some people's story, I am definitely the backup. I am definitely a background character. Sometimes, hey, I may even be the villain in the story. I don't know. But we're not the hero in every story. And I don't think people like to look at it that way because I believe in a sense we all kind of lean more in a narcissistic lens, in a self-centered focus, and of course it makes sense. You see the world through your perspective. It's not as many people who are able to put themselves outside of that perspective and view from another person's perspective and how they feel, how things affect them. And if more people could do that, I think we'd be better off. Okay, so let me go on to an actual story. Let me back out of that one. I don't need this one on the screen anymore. What stories do I have in here? Well, I know what stories I have in here. It's just since we already went down a road of corporations and society in a whole. I'm talking about big business. I think I'll go to the story. Wow. I can connect to any of these stories in a different way. Here, I'll leave it to you guys while I'm waiting for my chat to open up. Um, would you like to hear about Luigi Mangione first or the Lakers story? think I'll save the Abraham Lincoln one for last. So let me see the chat. I guess whoever hops in first is who gets to decide which direction I go in. So Luigi or the Lakers story. Let me start pulling these up on the screen. Whoa, that's not what I wanted to do. Wrong screen. Luigi, I see 2 for Luigi, so let's go. All right. I saw many different stories. It's kind of weird when you go through like Ground News and it tries to tell you this is center, this is right, this is left wing. How much stuff that I would consider that center that's in left wing. For instance, the AP is considered left wing, which I found that hilarious. So let's put this on the screen. I found this interesting. And I'm honestly surprised that we have not had more of these situations. Got to go at 1 a.m., which is 8 minutes away. Time. Not fussed either way. Well, I'm glad you're able to join us. I know that it's crazy late where you are. And I don't know, one of these days I'll get my act together to start being earlier in the day. I'm always dragging because I'm a night owl and I stay up late, which as I get older, I probably get my butt in bed sooner. But I don't know, it's hard for me. My body's up in the middle of the night. Let's see what to know about Luigi Mangione's guilty plea of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. So Luigi Mangione's guilty plea on Friday to federal stalk to kill charges raised immediate questions about why he decided to enter the plea, how it'll affect the parallel state murder case, and what is life in prison. Pled guilty in Manhattan federal court to a pair of stalking charges, admitted that he targeted and killed United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson as the executive walked to his company's investor conference at Manhattan Hotel in 2024. Let me skip this down a little and get to what we need to hear. Immediately after his plea, Mangione's lawyers filed paperwork seeking to have the state case thrown out on double jeopardy grounds. That trial is scheduled to begin next month, but could be pushed back or canceled altogether, depending on what the judge decides. For those who don't know what double jeopardy grounds are, is you cannot be tried for the same thing twice. And so I guess they're saying that since the federal is already charging him on this stalk and kill murder, state cannot do it also. Which I don't know which is better or worse, to go federal or state. Federal, if convicted, he gets more time. State could get more time, but could deal with, a whole list of other problems. If it succeeds, Mangione's defense team could concentrate on trying to convince the judge in his federal case, Margaret Garnett, to spare him from the life sentence that prosecutors say they intend to seek when he is sentenced on December 18th. I'll leave it there because I believe more than likely he's probably getting life sentence. If not life sentence, he's probably going to spend at least probably close to the next 20 to 30 years in prison, which is wild if you think about it. If he ends up getting 20 years, this man is admitting to stalking and killing. Now, granted, I have no love for healthcare CEOs, especially United Healthcare, because they've been on my radar for a long time for how egregious their price Hello, my apologies. Let me see. Let me know if you guys can hear me. So, yes, can you hear me? Hear me? Okay, hear you. Okay, cool. Wow, I don't know which part I left out on, which part you guys caught, or why it decided to just randomly kick me out. But yeah, I was saying that it's wild to me that Luigi Mangione, if he got 20 to 30 years, let's say he gets 30 years, he literally gets time than Carmelo Anthony got, and his was intentional. And I'm like, oh, I just thought about it. I realized my content of what I was saying, and probably why they decided to cut me. You know, I didn't even make a justification. I didn't make a justification for Luigi Mangione. I just said it. It's wild to me that Luigi admitted to, what he was doing. And when you take that cause of action, whether you feel like the healthcare CEO blood on his hands and was liable for the loss of many lives, you still understood what you were doing was illegal. You understood what the consequences would be. I mean, it's the same thing with people which I grew up with who were in the street life. When they were selling drugs, they had the conscious knowledge that what they were doing was illegal, and that if they were to get caught, more than likely the consequences could be, them spending their life in a cell. Hey, Jill. Hello.
Can you hear me?
Guess she's trying to come in. There we go. I think I can.
Hey, Marcus.
Hey, Jill. It's funny. I was just talking about your boyfriend, Luigi.
You said you were just talking about me?
I was just talking about your boyfriend, Luigi.
Oh, my Bookie. He pled guilty.
Mm-hmm.
But he's smart because you can't get double jeopardy. And if it's Fed time, they only make you do like 80%. So,
Yep.
oh well. Fuck him. I'm going to put some money on my baby. I'm going to put some money on his book.
I was saying it's wild to me how, even if let's say for instance he got 30 years, they don't give him a license. Let's say they give him 25 to life. He'll still get less time he'll get less time than Carmelo Anthony.
Yes, he will get less time than Carmelo Anthony.
And then on top of that, that woman who was the OnlyFans model who killed her boyfriend, this woman gets a 6-year sentence. She's already spent 4 years in during the duration of the trial. So it's possible this woman, if they say good behavior or whatever, she could literally get out like.
I think she has 18 months left.
Yeah, but they might even get her out sooner than that. She might end up doing 6 months and is out. 6 more months and gets out.
That's what I heard too.
Unless she does the full 6, which, okay, yeah, what, 18 months? And somehow, like, well, I don't know. It still seems shady to me that they accepted her plea and gave her the plea bargain was for 6 years. Pretty wild to me. But that's what I'm saying with Luigi. I don't know. I think he has an inroad, and he might be able to not get away with spending an exorbitant amount of time. But I think they are going to try to make an example out of him. So I think they're still going to hit him with at least 30. I don't know. What do you think? Oh shoot, did we lose you? Yeah, I guess we probably lost her. For those who don't know, Tail is on the road right now, so bear with
Can
us.
you hear me, Marcus? Because I think I lost you.
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead. Okay, I guess you don't hear me. So I guess I'll move on to the next subject. Since my internet's not wanting to cooperate with me, probably try to move as fast through the stories as I can. Okay, there we go. Add the stage. Okay, so there you go.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I was trying to connect it to my car. I'm still in my car.
Okay. Oh, but going ahead, what you were saying?
So old girl, I think she has 18 months left, but she's supposed to be getting out on good behavior, which is crazy because she didn't have good behavior when she was free. But with Luigi doing what he's doing, I mean, his legal staff is fucking brilliant. I don't know who the fuck is representing him, but they're doing an amazing and immaculate job between having them do like fed time, not having to pull all of it, understanding the laws of double jeopardy, understanding how New York does their state time. Like whoever he has on his legal like advisory team is just top notch, in my opinion.
I agree, and I think if I was him, if you're doing the case there in New York, I would rather do it federal than be in state side because more than likely he dealing with like Rikers Island or something like ew.
True shit, but then you really got to pull that state time. Like they're gonna make you sit.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what
I mean
you know
that's
what I'm saying?
that's the
Just understand.
downside. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was like just understanding like how state penitentiaries are ran, understanding how state penitentiaries are funded, understanding whose hands are in the state penitentiary compared to the Fed penitentiaries. You know what I'm saying? Federal penitentiaries aren't privately owned, if I'm not mistaken, because they're federally owned. State penitentiaries, on the other hand, are
Correct.
privately owned in some areas and aspects. So the longer that you're there, the more money those owners get. You know what I'm saying? In reference to feds, that's why they don't give a fuck usually, and you pretty much do get out on good time. He's gonna get released to a halfway house. You know what I'm saying? Be on some probation, and then he's gonna be a free man again. So I'm about to write my boyfriend and put money on my boyfriend's books.
I think it's gonna be a lot of women putting money on his books and sending
Baby,
him a
that's the
lot.
new Robin Hood, baby.
Yeah, and I wonder how that plays on the inside though. Are people going to want to come at him, or how is it going to? Because it could go either way, you know.
Man, boy is safe. That man is safe.
Yeah, I mean, I think he probably could. That's what I'm saying. He could play either way. I would think more than likely he might be on the safe side, but you just never know. Some hating ass dude could be getting paid to come after him.
Hope he clap him up too. You know.
And
I hope
I
he don't
think
catch a body in there.
well, that's the thing. That's the kind of stuff I worry about. If they send somebody after him and try to set up a situation where he catches a body and catches more charges. Because then you're looking at a situation
I've been
where,
worried about that too, because I was like, you're getting another murder charge.
yep, and now you're gone for good.
Yeah.
Even if the dude was a piece of shit and the dude, I mean, they could have did whatever to you first. And just because you're in retaliation, you could still end up going down for that. I don't know. So I always kind of weigh those things out. You know, what is the situation? How will it go? And shout out, old man Barker. I see you. What's
Hashtag
up?
free bay.
Yeah. I mean, over
Is in
because
the
I
chat today?
huh?
I meant to ask, is John in the chat today? I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm sorry if there's a delay.
Yeah, John is there.
Okay, awesome. Your best.
I'm sorry, you have to repeat that again. You're cutting out.
Oh no, I was saying, John, that I'll reach out to John soon. Like he'll be hearing from me soon. And then I was letting you know, you can finish your thought. I'm sorry about interrupting.
No, you're not interrupting at all. I've been going for the last hour. I just think that it's kind of one of those situations where I think also they may try to go after him and throw the book at him. So I might have to do some research into it and try to figure out for New York federal law, if they don't go for the death penalty, what kind of charges? I mean, not charges, but what kind of sentencing is he possibly looking at?
So at 25 to life, the feds usually have to give you an actual number. Only reason I know this is because my mom had a couple of Fed boyfriends and her dad, she loved a club Fed guy. And with the rules of the feds, you have to pull 80% of your, at minimum, you have to do 80% of your sentence. So,
Yeah, I know
so he's going to be sitting for at least, 10. He's going to do a dime piece at the least. They do good behavior and they do good stuff based off, accelerated programs. They do have accelerated programs. They also are dependent on if you are a violent offender or not, which they would definitely consider him a violent offender, obviously. But there are some programs that he'll be able to do while he's in the feds that can, accelerate his time served. And so as long as he's like keeping his, it doesn't seem like anybody's been touching him where he's been at. That's why it's going to be hard for me to believe somebody going to touch him in the feds unless the CEOs, peoples or whatever, paying some people off, the mob don't like them or whatever have you. But it's going to have to really be some shit.
I'm saying he could be on.
That's what I'm saying. He could be protected now. He could, and he could also be in PC while he's in the feds.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You can always request to be med.
And for those who don't know what I mean, when I say admin segregation, meaning that they're keeping him separate from the rest of the other inmates. But even also another thing, because of how high profile his case is, there's a possibility that they might treat him like, one of the high profile cases, like almost when you get like a cartel member in there, like a cartel leader or a serial killer or something like that. They'll put those people in a separate wing sometimes. And so he's not around Gen Pop.
Yeah. They did that with old boy that killed his wife and 2 babies out in Colorado. They kept him segregated the whole time until they moved him to another facility. He got moved to the Fed facility in Colorado. Brian, whatever his name is, the guy that put his wife and his kids in those oil drums.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he was at Lyman. He was at my prison for a while. I think I was there for I was there for 3 months because it took a month of training, and I was there. I was on the floor for 2 months, and he got moved right after I got on the floor.
Oh, now it looks like my computer wants to work. I don't know actually no.
Your computer been going through it this year.
Yeah, I think I'm about.
Did you already talk about the Navy folks killing themselves?
No, I saved that one.
That shit got my heart hurting and my stomach hurting, bro. That shit's sad.
Yeah, if you wanted to go into that one right now, we could talk about it.
Just before I might lose service. I'm about to drive through a storm.
Okay, yeah, go ahead then.
Okay, so at first I thought it was some bullshit. I thought this might have been like an AI article. Like I could not wrap my mind around the fact that our young ladies and gentlemen in blue not police, in blue Navy uniforms are committing suicide because their living conditions are so trash, because their fucking mental health is in the toilet, because the shit that they're on is pretty much like a sinking toilet. That's insane to me. And I'm like, you got these kids out here, and they're kids, bro. I know for a fact, if I do have children, they're not enlisting. Ever. They're not enlisting. If I got to take 3, 4, 5 loans to get them in college or in trade school, it is what it is, but they are not enlisting. This GI Bill is not worth what it is. And signing up for the military now is not what it was back in the day. And I'm talking about back in my day too. Like, this is not Iraqi freedom. This is not post 9/11 enlistment. This shit is completely fucking different. This is literally slavery, in my opinion. Like, if you have to sign up for the military, if your kids are enlisting in the military, baby, that's like a death sentence. Nowadays, this is crazy. They're not even dying in war. They're dying by their own hands. And nobody thinks that's a problem. We haven't sent anything to go out and get these people off this fucking boat.
Well, that's the thing.
That's
The
crazy,
boat
bro.
really, I don't know why they haven't sent a relief for them yet. Like, I don't know. You heard what Trump had to say?
That's what I'm saying.
That dude said.
What the fuck
they
this
said,
faggot say? Oh shit, sorry.
Oh, I know. He made me so. I'm like, this is why I don't listen to anything he says. This is why I block him out. Because Trump said, if I don't think they've been out there long enough. So they
send his bald-headed poop butt-head ass.
Mm-hmm. They've spent 200.
Send him. He needs to go sit on that boat.
Yeah, 270 days of it. Now, for those who don't know, like, for the workups that I did while we were going out, they have spent almost more time straight on the ship than all of the time we did combined, including, because before you go out, you do like a couple weeks out, a week in, a couple of days out, back in, and you go back and forth or whatever, doing all these like things to get the ship prepared. And then you go and do your 6-month deployment typically. Sometimes they'll extend it to 7 months. But when you're doing those 6-7 month deployments, you're going back into port. You're going back into port like every couple of weeks or so. Like, most of the time, the longest period that you're not hitting port is when you're traveling from another area. So, like, for instance, I was on an East Coast ship. When we came all the way from Florida across to the Med, you had to take that like 2.5, almost 3 weeks straight of no port visit. But normally you're only doing at most like 30 days out to sea without hitting a port. If you're on a sub, you do 3 months, which that's 90 days. And then they come back up for a couple of weeks, and they go back down, and they do another 3 months. And that's for like a sub, which is, that's even a sub that's doing missions and stuff, like not just some training stuff. But 270 days straight. I mean, granted, they're on a carrier, which is bigger, and you got more room around than like follow them in on a frigate. I get it, but when you hear these people where they're talking about sailors that are jumping off the ship, they're not jumping off to try to swim away somewhere else. They are jumping off to commit suicide. They are losing their crap. Oh no, Till, are you still there? Okay, if Till's not there, then I'll just keep going.
No, I'm still here. I'm still here.
Okay, yeah, you can go ahead and pop back in because I want you to be able to, feed in before you cut out.
No, because that's exactly what it is. Like, y'all gotta understand. Like, first off, that's torture. We're torturing our own military. Insane. 200 days on an aircraft, 200 days anywhere. And when he says they're not porting, that means they're not going back to get supplies. These kids are not getting. They're continually having to have their quote unquote sea legs. They're not seeing land or other humans for 200 plus days. They're seeing the same motherfuckers they see every fucking day. So if they got beef is still fuming. If they're not liking their CO, that shit is still popping off. Like, their CO is probably losing their shit too, because they've never experienced anything like this.
Yeah,
Like, even the higher ups have never experienced no shit like this.
nobody's experienced this who's like in living memory. Nobody's done nothing like this since like the sailors in like the 1800s.
When
Like,
they didn't know any better.
Pirate shit. This is pirate
And
shit.
Yeah. And we're in the age of, you know, mental health, and we know what PTSD and CPTSD. Y'all think these kids gonna come back okay? If they already cracking on the ship itself, you think they gonna come back all right? Hell no. These kids coming back all types of fucked up. They better get their VA money straight, because baby, the cases they gonna have after this one, they gonna have commercials for this motherfucking shit right here. Were you on the aircraft carrier such and such, such and such? You may be entitled to money. Go ahead and get ready to hear that the next 10, 15 years. When it's time for these motherfuckers to retire, if they make it to retire.
Oh, they ain't, man, these dudes are getting, I could tell you, most of these people are getting out after this. I can tell you that.
Most of them people, they're going to get out one way or another. One way or another. I promise you they're going to get out.
Or when they get, or as soon as they hit port, you about to have a ton of them.
AWOL like a bitch.
You about to have a ton of them just straight desert.
So many of them kids going to go AWOL.
Chris H was asking, what the hell's wrong with the ship's captain? It's not on the captain. This is orders that he's getting from SecNav. Like, I mean, well, it's coming, well, not directly from SecNav, but it's coming from him in a sense. And basically, this is coming from Pete Hegseth. Pete Hegseth is the one who's given instructions to Secretary of the Navy. Secretary of the Navy is, I'm not sure which fleet they're in, because I was in the 5th fleet. That's probably, I think that's like the 7th or 8th fleet that they're in. Whoever that admiral is who's up under the Secretary of the Navy is getting his instructions from the Secretary of the Navy, who's telling that captain, sorry, you got to stay there till we get you relieved. Now, what I don't understand is why the hell couldn't they just send another carrier out there? And the reason why the conditions are so bad for them versus, you know, wars, like, or just being in, you know, being out on cruise before is because the Iranians have destroyed most of the bases that they would be going to for refueling and all that. And that's where, like, that's why, like, the conditions are so bad for them. You normally go back into port so you can retool up. I mean, you go in there so you'll get new food, any kind of equipment that the ship needs. That's when they do it, when they come back into port. And then at the same time, you get some time to walk around, relax, you know, stretch your legs, go have a little drink, go party a little bit, you know, and it helps relieve the pressure and stress that you have all day long of being in a permanent work environment. Yeah, they can. Well, here's the thing. They can and can't at the same time get food to them. Um, the planes that are coming on and off the ships are fighter jets. They're any of the cargo planes are too big to land on a carrier. And then the helos that come on, you can't pack that much stuff on there for a helo. I mean, you got to keep in mind, also, the helo can only do short trips. So the helo would have to go to a U.S. base for supplies. Since all of our bases are basically bombed out and burned up, they can't go to the nearest ports that would be like, you know, Bahrain, you know, or something like that, Jordan. They can't go to any of these places. And then you got to remember, this is a Nimitz class carrier. This is a super carrier, a nuclear power carrier that has about 5,500 people on there, and then you factor in the flight crews. Also, we're talking about over 7,000 people. You can't bring on enough supplies on helos for 7,000 people. So that's the reason why, like, they're struggling out there. I mean, all you can do, and they're more than likely kind of sitting stationary. So that's the reason why the ones who are jumping off, it hasn't been as dire, and they've been able to get these sailors back on board. But like, if the ship would have been going in the middle of the night, if it would have been like going to a different location, and they're jumping off, you wouldn't be able to see them. You would have no clue that they're gone. So I mean, that's the reason why there's really no conflict. You said Nick
Oh,
and
sorry.
Jamar were laughing at the folks on the Abe Lincoln. What do you mean they were laughing at them?
Oh, that's
Why?
sad. That's sad.
That's so fucked up, man. You see why I don't want to, some of these so-called leftist communities, they be on some bullshit. They really be on some bullshit. And because here's my thinking, and I'm guessing when they're saying Nick and Jamal, they're talking about Jamal Thomas, and they're talking about Nick Cruz, I imagine. How many people 4 years ago had the mentality they did about the military they have now? I mean, you're
Very
shitting
true.
on. I mean, most of these people didn't have this very negative feeling toward the military until up until a couple of years ago. This has just been in vogue. It's been popular to be nasty towards the troops. Now I get it being at what our government uses the military for, but most of the people who are joining the military are poor kids. They're kids. Like, I mean, I signed my paperwork at 17. Any of y'all have a 17-year-old kid, or who have a 17-year-old nephew or cousin or something like that? What is their mentality? Do you really think that they're knowledgeable about the world and about the government and all that
They
stuff?
barely can read that contract they signed.
Exactly. Most of them have been promised that, hey, this is going to get you some money so you can go to college and you can have a better life. That's all they know. Or do you think, you know what? Yeah, I get that Nick hates boomers, but the military is not full of boomers. The military is full of young people. I mean,
Yeah, the boomers already retired out, baby, or dead.
yeah, even the people who are at the tops of the military, most of them are Gen X. And think about it. A lot of Gen Xers are late 50s, sometimes early 60s. I mean, and even those boomers who went to the military, they're not running shit. In fact, they're really being controlled. They're being controlled by Donald Trump, Pete Hegseth, Marco Rubio. These are the people who are running them, and those aren't boomers. Well, Trump is, but Hegseth is what, like 43?
Gen X. Yeah.
No, if he's 43, he ain't even Gen X. He's a millennial.
Oh God, that's right. I was about to say no. He's part of my bracket because he's only a couple years older than me, and he don't know shit.
Right, let me look it up to be true.
I know he doesn't know shit because my mom would be 62 this year. Would have been 62 this year. She's definitely a Gen Xer. If she stayed in the military, she would have been retired by now.
So he's 46.
Okay.
And he was born in 1980. That makes him that would make him just barely Gen X. Keep in mind, and I'm technically considered a millennial. Pete Hegseth is like 7 months older than me.
Yeah, he's a cusp baby. He's a cusp Gen Xer.
Yeah, he's like 7 months older than I am.
He's an idiot.
And so basically, yeah, he would be considered what, a zennial. The people who are on the cusp of both generations. He's not running that. Marco Rubio's like about the same age. Marco Rubio's like what, 47, 48?
Yeah, so he's a Gen Zer. Gen Z and millennial, right?
Yeah, technically these both are. They both would be. Oh, so he's 55. So both Gen X. These ain't boomers who are doing this shit. See, well, and Chris H, you said where Nick is right is we have to starve the military machine of
I think he's
participants
Gen Z.
the same way people were saying we shouldn't comply with COVID mandates.
Hey, Marcus,
But
can you
how
hear
do you?
me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I, oh, I guess you can't hear me. Here's the thing, though, Chris H. How do you starve the military of people that would join it? How do you starve the military participants when they prey on people who are lower income? Are we out there hiring people? I mean, most of these people are joining the military because they don't have any other opportunities. Is there a bunch of jobs that are sitting out there? Because what I'm seeing is most of the people are complaining because they don't make any money and they don't have any opportunity. So how do we starve the military of people when the military preys off of people who don't have opportunity when we're living in one of the more desperate times in American history for younger people? I mean, it just doesn't make sense what that logic. This is my problem with a lot of online leftists. They're just saying shit. It doesn't make sense. Just because I don't know if people are into this manifesting shit or something, and they just think that if you just say stuff, it's just going to become a reality. That's not how the world works. Actions have to happen. Actions have to move things. And you can't starve the military of participants if we live in a society that creates more people who are desperate and who are going to look at the military as an option because of their desperation. We have no ability to starve it of shit. Exactly, a poverty draft. We ain't got no ability to starve it of shit, so you're just talking out your ass saying starve the military of participants. That's ridiculous. Many of the people who I know joined the military, if they did not join the military, you know what? More than likely, they probably would have been in prison or been dead. And that's facts. Many of them would have been in prison or been dead. And I don't know, maybe some of those crazy leftists will say, you know what? Maybe it's just better that they're dead than be in the military. When literally some people in the military are doing nothing for freaking paperwork. Some people go into the military and just cutting people's hair. What harm are you doing? I don't know. I just hear some of these people and it just sounds stupid to me. It's like y'all do. It's like, in fact, the percentage of. In fact, I wonder. I'm gonna look this up. I'm gonna look this up just so I can put this out there. Let's see, put my phone down real quick because I think this number needs to be just put out there. I don't think people. I don't think people really think about this when they say these comments. roughly 10 to 15% of military personnel actually experience direct combat engagement or serve in primary combat roles, such as infantry, artillery, or tank crews. The vast majority of military service work in critical support, logistics, medical, administrative, or technical jobs. Most of the people who are in the military aren't doing anything that has to do with combat. Most of them are not. I mean, do y'all realize there are people in the military that their sole job is to go to military funerals and present the flag? That's their sole thing. Some people's sole job is to be in the military band. That's literally all they do is play instruments. There's some people in the military, their sole job is to teach history. There are some people in the military, their job is to be a veterinarian. There's some people who their job is literally administrative paperwork. Oh, you're transferring from this command, you're going to that command, and you're going from here, you're going from there. My job is to do your paperwork and send you over there. Oh, you're a family, okay, we need to set you up for base housing, this, that, whatever. Majority of the military. In fact, even if you go to support roles, the amount of people that are doing direct combat and support roles is still probably under 30% of the military. The big major bulk of the military, in fact, especially like Navy, for instance, a lot of naval ships are just meant to show force. They float around and they patrol ceremonially through an area to, air quotes, show force. They don't actually ever do anything. Yeah, I look at it like this. Because people say, well, I read Miguel says, all of them failed the military machine. How many of you guys in the civilian world are working for a company that is feeding the military industrial complex also? How many of you guys have worked at Starbucks or something like that while Starbucks is sending money over to the IDF in Gaza? How many of you guys are working for or worked for Walmart or Target who funds presidents like Donald Trump for them to put in these behaviors? I see a lot of people pointing fingers in a lot of different directions, not realizing you're just as culpable as the other people you're pointing the finger at. Yeah, there's no boycotting all of these companies. It's impossible to boycott them all. And I can tell you it's impossible because I tried to boycott them until I start realizing some of these companies, you don't even realize that they're still owned by the same companies. You know what is it? Vanguard, BlackRock, those couple of small companies. Do you know that they fund a lot of this stuff? And you're still sending money to them whether you realize it or not. That's what I realized when I came down to really digging into this system. In some way or another, you can tell yourself that I'm not helping the empire. I'm not helping the system. The only way you're not helping this system in some way, shape, or form is if you move out to the backwoods of Australia or something like that. That's the only way. Yeah, you can avoid Walmart, but you go to another store, you might be still buying a product that's a Procter & Gamble product that's still contributed in some way. You still might be buying a phone or a laptop or a computer, which is still funding the very people that you're against. So some way, some shape or form, we're all still funding this. That's what I try to get across. And so these people who try to make themselves high and mighty that feel like they're not a part of this system, even when you're even when you're getting on, well, it looks like we got Till back. Even when you're getting on these platforms and you're raging against the system, you're still helping the profits of said company that is going to funnel money into that very thing.
What company? Who we raging against? Fuck Blackstone.
Well, that's because people were going against. Well, you're all. They were like, well, you're still feeding into the military machine. Well, all these people who even if they don't have a combat job or whatever, or not even a support, that they're still feeding into the military. And the point I brought up is we are all still in some way, shape, or form feeding into the system. It's impossible not to if you live in if you live in any society, if you live in any of these American cities, actually, and you can extend it past America, but if you live in any town, city, you're buying from a store, right? You're buying products from somebody, and I guarantee you, it won't take you much to find out those products that you buying are contributing to the very thing you're protesting against.
Everybody got their hand in everything.
That's what I try to understand. I mean, I guess people don't understand about investments, how they teach you to invest. They tell you one key word that starts with a D. What's that word, Teal? When you invest, it starts with a D.
When you invest in something,
That they tell you to do. And right now, Trump and them, they hating the first part of it. Diversify.
diversify your portfolio.
Exactly. Y'all thinking that because I boycotted this right here that you won. No, Pippin. They got
Fuck
their
no,
money.
that shit don't make sense. That shit makes absolutely no sense. You can't knock one thing. For example, let's go ahead and say this. You can say, I hate Bill Gates and his lab meat. Cool. But if you still shop at Publix right now, bitch, you getting lab meat. If you still eat at Taco Bell, bitch, you getting lab meat. You can't move around it. And it's not even like, oh, I'm not gonna shop at Publix no more. Who the fuck is the provider or who's the one transporting this shit? Is it Cisco? Is it uh OFG? Is it goddamn PFG? You got to understand that there's actual companies that hold these products that then distribute these products. So are you against the distributor too? Are you against the retailer? Are you just against Bill Gates? You don't know. So tune in next week, guys, because like you'll never find out every person who has their hand on it.
Yep.
Remember when they came out with them big ass goddamn flow charts and them goddamn bubble charts telling you all the things that fucking Hershey is connected to, Pepsi, it's Johnson and Johnson.
Yep.
They own Pepsi, they own Coke, they own your mama. Shit, goddamn. Y'all thought Johnson and Johnson was just making baby powder 12 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You thought Bayer? You thought Bayer was only making Advil.
Yep.
So you're not doing like you gotta if you're really trying to say you sticking it to the man and you really saying fuck the machine, bitch, you ain't got no internet. You ain't got no Skynet. You ain't got no Xfinity. You live in the woods with no electricity, rubbing sticks together, not talking to nobody. You're not watching our show, I promise you that one. Because you're still on YouTube. YouTube's ran by apple juices.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no way everybody can stick it to the man. Now, am I hating on you? No, I'm actually proud of you. If you still boycott here, there, and the third, kudos to you. It's still fuck Starbucks over here. You know what I'm saying? Ain't never touched another fucking Starbucks thing since this goddamn war in Palestine and the Gaza Strip. Ain't touched Starbucks since then. Dunkin' Donuts all way, baby. But at the end of the day, are there slave children in fucking Chile and in South America probably harvesting these beans? Probably. Am I still drinking coffee? Yes. See what I'm saying? Same way they got to diversify their portfolio, we got to diversify the way that we boycotting. That's
Yeah,
all.
I remember years back when I started trying to investigate into all this stuff. Everybody is everybody's a couple of degrees away from either contributing to something negative or whatever. I hear what you're saying, Warren. Like you said, to be fair, if you're in the military, no matter which job you're doing, you're several degrees closer to murdering civilians than someone working at Walmart. Well, it's I don't even like the phrasing of you're several degrees closer. Either you're murdering civilians or you're not. Um, because okay, this person's in the military and technically they could be called up to go and do this, but they're not. I mean, they could be. That's a whole lot of ifs and ands. But if you're working for a lot of these corporations, you are definitely contributing to money that is going directly to the IDF. Or some of these people, you might be servicing whatever company this is. This company is making weapons, which are going over to blow them up. So you're 1 degree closer, also. And I don't think it's healthy for people to point the fingers across at the people who are conned into doing the dirty work of the people at the top. Then focus on the people at the top. That goes back into what I was saying at the beginning of the show about they have put us into an environment where it's fight or flight. People are going to do what they need to do to survive, and they're only going to think in their short-term interests. They're not thinking this move on top of this move on top of this move down to this move that this hurts somebody over here. Not allowed to think that way. The reason why we're not allowed to think that way is because you got to take care of yourself. And if a person is starving, they're going to try to do whatever they can to not starve. At a certain point, it becomes almost a first world privilege to be able to sit back and look at it as in, well, I'm not going to do this or I'm going to boycott that. You could try, but if you do it, don't spend the time, poking out your finger at somebody else, looking down on them, while holding yourself up. Huh, I'm doing this, and I'm not contributing to anything. We're all contributing. We're all contributing.
Can we talk about the food recalls real quick?
Sure, go ahead.
Because I know y'all hear me talk about this food shit all the time. So, boom, 30,000 pounds of red meat was put on recall because it didn't have a safety inspection, but it came from Argentina. 3,500 pounds of pastrami has listeria. And that happens to be one of my biggest favorite, like, foodborne illnesses because it has a mortality rate of like 85% when it comes to women that are pregnant. Insane. Like, it kills the babies all the time. And let me see, what else was it? Oh, and there's a massive egg recall going on right now, which is also insane. And that's killing people too. Eggs are killing people now. Remember when we had that egg shortage? And now we got eggs that's killing people. I wonder why. Sounds like we got some weird ass eggs in the field right now.
Oh, I forgot. I'll finish up with one last thing on that military thing. I guess since we feel like the military is all bad and everybody who joined it, fuck them. They should have known better. Screw them, whatever. I guess we're just not going to care that these young men and women are on these ships and they're going through hell. So, or I guess we'll just leave it at that. I see where the audience is at. So you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. But who doesn't care about the kids?
Well, they're basically turned this into arguing about the morality of the military as a whole, and that's what this devolved into. That we're not going to worry about the USS Abraham Lincoln.
Give me 30 seconds.
Mhm. So I wish I could open that up. It says, here are links to Once Upon a Time in the Middle East. Girl, I have to look into that. What is that talking about? Once Upon a Time in the Middle East. I have not heard of that at all. Once,
Okay, for people to actually sit here and try to like clown these kids or like don't you think they're going through enough already if they're like jumping off a fucking aircraft carrier? Like I ain't never seen nobody jump off an aircraft carrier. I ain't gonna hold you. I ain't never seen it. We ain't even seen that shit in fucking commercials that kind of bribe kids into selling their soul over in the first place. But at the end of the day, when kids are put into a rock and a hard place, they're gonna make a fucked up decision. Obviously, they're fucking kids. Us as adults or older adults who've had life experiences can now understand, like, yeah, I probably made some weird ass fucking decisions when I was in between the ages of 17 and 25, 17 and 30. You know what I'm saying? Shit, I just barely got out of my fucking early 30s and I was making weird ass fucking decisions. You know what I'm saying? So, like, trying to make a betterment of your life, you should not be faulted for that. You should not be dragging these kids for trying to fucking do something better. Granted, they didn't have many fucking options, obviously. Not to mention, I don't know how many of y'all in the chat have talked to recruiters. Them motherfuckers got a slicker tongue than double himself.
mm-hmm.
So going through a rock and a hard place or being or experiencing a life in which you probably didn't have a lot of fucking wins, and then this person with a whole bunch of shiny medals on their fucking shelves tells you you can get a whole bunch of shiny fucking medals. I can make that shit happen for you. You have a shitty ass life, I can make that shit better for you.
Hell, I'll tell you what my neighbor told me. He's like, yo, I can make sure that I can get you a good career. You do a couple of years in the military, you'll be able to travel, man. You'll be traveling all over the place. You'll see the world. You'll go to party everywhere. You'll have beautiful women. You'll get out of the military. You'll have money for a degree. You'll be able to get a good job. Next thing you know, 10 years on down the road, man, you are doing great. You are having the life you dreamed out, and they sell you a future that, especially as a poor kid like myself, could never imagine. They sell you. Oh, all you gotta do is do a couple of years. And also, at the time I went in during peacetime. We weren't engaged in fighting nobody, and there was not even a thought of anybody coming that we would fight.
Yep. Like, you really think they're gonna sit here and tell you, hey, just want to let you know, when you get out, you're gonna have massive PTSD. Like, the shit's gonna be crazy. Like, you're gonna think somebody's trying to shoot you every 4th of July. Your family, they're probably gonna leave you. They don't tell you that shit. Your kids, you'll never see them, and they might grow up to hate you. But hey, you saved some motherfuckers in a country that don't even give a fuck about you. You put your life on the line for some motherfuckers that'll get in the chat and talk shit about the decision that you made. That's what you did.
Yeah, there's a very, very small percentage who go to the military like, I want to go be a Marine so I can kill people and do it. There's a very extremely small amount who want to go to the military to be in combat. Everybody's thinking it's not going to happen to them. It's like you got hopping into a car and thinking, I'm not going to get into a wreck. Nobody thinks it's going to happen to them until it does. Chris H says, it seems like the American system is so corrupt and all causing so much harm all around that it is hard to know where the point the finger to create change may be. Nick is afflicted with the same issue. I just think that a lot of people once they get into their awakening, they get arrogant and they shit on other people for not knowing what they know, and I think that's wrong. They act like, you know what, I didn't make that mistake. I knew better. No, you didn't join the military. You didn't avoid joining the military because you thought it was bad. Most people didn't join the military because they thought they were going to go to college. They want to do this. They want to do that. their reasoning for not joining the military didn't have nothing to do with I'm not going to join the military because I think it's a corrupt organization. Let's just be 1,000 with it. Nobody was thinking that when they decided I'm not going to go to the military. None of y'all were thinking that. When those recruiters go into those schools, nobody, that's not crossing any of their mind that, oh, those are baby killers. Nobody's thinking that way. This ain't the 70s. In fact, the only time people even think like that when an active war is going on.
I put money every person that's actually speaking about this shit never took an ASVAB. So let's start there. Let's start there.
Oh, well, they'll tell you that they never took an ASVAB because they morally thought that the military was
I ain't trying to
evil.
hear that shit. That's the point that I'm making. So if you haven't taken an ASVAB, please shut the fuck up. There we go. End the conversation. You choose to take the ASVAB. That's a choice you make. If y'all didn't make that choice, you didn't take the ASVAB, please have a seat in the back. Have a seat in the back. Please. Please. Y'all make it seem like you number 1 or 2 if they start calling draft numbers. Nobody wants your ass anyway. Sit in the back. Jesus. Fucking Christ.
And just like John says here, this is the perfect thing. We were too young to understand that stuff. And I hate hearing fucking 30 and 40-year-old fucking people shitting on kids. Because none of y'all didn't think like this then. None of you thought like this then.
Get out of here, bro. You're always just trying to get your dick wet.
And
Young, dumb, and full of cum. That's what my father would tell me. A hardcore Marine.
And what I'm saying is, I bet you this. If they would have told half of them who didn't join the military about all the bitches they can get, they probably would have joined the military just for that.
Because they were young, dumb, and full of cum.
Exactly. I just hate hearing all these people try to like rewrite history that they were always these fucking super moral actors. And that I was so much more enlightened than you when I was 16. Get the fuck out of here. Nobody's buying that shit.
Boo this man. Boo. Tomato, tomato, tomato. Wait.
Most of the people who I know of who end up not joining the military, it's not because they had a negative view about the military, it's because they had other options.
Thank you.
Hey, I already got my college paid for. I'm going to college. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that.
They had supportive parents that either went into the military, because niggas be acting like just because they didn't go that their parents weren't in it. Motherfuckers like that be so quick to talk about their personal fucking decision. Oh, I didn't decide to go. Your motherfucking parent probably even told you not to go. I was literally in front of my recruiter and my father said, you know what, never mind. My dad went with me down to the fucking recruiter's office. He didn't like what the fuck they said, and so I didn't fucking go. But not once will you ever hear me come out my motherfucking face sideways about the kids that have to go. Because in the same fucking breath, I promise you, not one of y'all is going to dig in your motherfucking pocket and help that 17-year-old get their life on track and get in what? You want them to grab themselves by the fucking bootstraps? Pull some money out your fucking pocket and pay for their shit then.
See,
that's where I'm at.
I knew what Warren was going to say before he said it. When he said my dad was in World War II. Yeah, that's the reason why when you took the ASVAB back in '86, you decided hell no. Because you had a dad who had already been through World War II. And World War II was all hands on deck. It was everybody was involved in the war effort. Yep. And so when you got a father who went through World War II or Vietnam, that definitely changed the way you viewed the military in a way that a lot of other people did not get.
There were so many POWs. There were so many men lost. There were so many men came back fucked up. There were so many things. There were so many different avenues of war that was not seen prior to World War II. World War II was a wild awakening on war, period. Mm-hmm. Vietnam was the first time we got to see that bitch on TV for real, for real. Those two wars right there changed our entire makeup. But it was the fact that y'all's parents came back with them fucked up stories, and probably coerced you into saying, you know what, don't do it, baby. Don't do it.
Yep.
So I'm glad, Warren, that you had a parent that cared enough, that most likely told you some shit that altered your brain enough for you to be like, nah, I can't even do that. Look at my daddy.
On top of that, he said Vietnam. If you think about it, if you say you took the ASVAB in '86, well, that means 10 years before that, you were old enough to remember Vietnam on TV.
Boom. Now that
That-
motherfucker was an unnecessary motherfucker. I will stand on business with that one. That was an unnecessary war, but regardless, people got drafted, people had to go, things had to happen.
Well, I'm saying that if you had a populace of people who were growing up seeing the Vietnam War, I'm pretty sure that would definitely sway your viewpoint of the military. You'd be like, hell no, I'm not going to that. And that makes perfect sense to me. But you got to remember, after Vietnam, the way that they covered the media after the way the media covered war after that, the way they covered Desert Shield, Desert Storm, all they showed us was friendly pictures. And I remember, what was it? I remember the program where they had all of us writing letters to the troops back then. All the kids who were in grade school and middle school.
Me too. I
All
remember
writing
that.
letters to the troops.
My dumb ass was writing a letter to my mom thinking that shit was actually going to get to her ass. And they were just putting these shits in a big ass envelope and sending them over.
See, Warren says he says, I remember the Vietnam vets getting booed when they came home. See, enough time passed that I remember people feeling sorry for and having compassion for Vietnam vets. Because they were like, how they treated you back in the 70s was fucked up. That's what I'm saying. How these experiences affect us make a huge difference, on who joins what and why and when and all those things. It all makes a difference. I came from a military family, and none of them spoke a single word negative about the military. Not one.
If I'm keeping it a buck, my family wouldn't be where it's at if it wasn't for it. I have so many generations. Thank you. I have so many generations that had to do it to help that future generation so that we wouldn't have to do it.
Oh,
and I can honestly see with the generation after me, with the cousins that I have after me, and I'm so proud of all of my baby cousins because now they're coming of age. A lot of them are graduating high school and going to college. So few of my baby cousins are doing the military like their great grandfather had to do, which is my grandfather, or even my great grandfather, my grandfather's father. Like we got 3 generations straight of military. I mean, back to back to back to back. Actually, 4. And like cousins, all of those cousins in that my grandfather, his brother is military. But now it's to a point where it paid it forward so much that their fucking grandkids and great grandkids don't have to do it.
Yeah, I got 5 or 6 who are in the Army right now.
You see what I'm saying? I think I have 2 cousins. I have 2 cousins in my bracket, like on my tree line, that are in the military. 2. One's an officer. She got her degree first, then went in. The other one's enlisted, but she's an E7.
Mm-hmm.
So like, and the girls, and that's the other thing, they're girls. Right now. What'd you say, Marcus?
I said I have an aunt who's a colonel right now.
See what I'm saying? And let's really shout out the women that decide to do this shit and then they stick with it and then they become the baddest bitches in the game. Like, let's do it. Let's go. Let's go.
Air Force colonel.
Yeah. I got two, both of my cousins are in the Navy.
Yeah, what was it? What was that comment? Oh, Deep State said, I would never join the military strictly for benefits. You have to be fully engaged mentally. No, you don't. Most of the people who are in the military are not fully engaged. I guarantee you that. Most of them are young kids who didn't know what the hell they wanted to do with themselves. Many of them got sent. Many of them, their parents told them, if you don't go to college, you're going to the military.
Yeah. You got to figure
Many
it
of
out
them
when you get the fuck out of my house.
you're getting the fuck out of my house. Fine. You don't know what you want to do, go into the military. And they got pressured into the military. Many of them get into, I know, you know how many people I know who are in the military who are the most unserious people ever, who are not engaged. The moment that, like, you know how many women who I knew of in the military who, once deployment came around, they intentionally got pregnant so they didn't have to go out to sea?
Come on, I was about to say, how many of them became pregnant? How many women joined the military looking for a husband?
Yeah, I knew dudes on the ship that would drop large not crowbars, but giant monkey wrench on their
On their
shit
foot.
so that they could break their foot and have to get off the ship.
Yep.
They're not fully engaged. Most of these people are, I'm telling you, they are strictly there for college money. Most of them. None of them ever think anything is going to go down. They're not engaged. I mean, the people who you think that are joining to be all gun ho and all that, that is an extremely small percentage. Most of them are there for college money. Point blank, period. That's the
And if we're
reason
really
why
going to talk about it, that's your government trying to give you propaganda. That's your government giving propaganda of having that mindset of the gung ho, all American ass soldier. No, that is not the
not
case. I promise you, there
that,
is no motherfucker right now with a high and tight whose dick gets hard because you think that it's going to be Full Metal Jacket. No, it's not. I promise you, it's not. These kids are scared. A majority of these kids that go into the A school, or even they don't even make it out of A school, going straight into basic, they're fucking scared. Because
you
if they
know
don't
how
make it here, they're not going to make it back home either. Because they just left whatever disparaging situation they already had. Because honestly, any motherfucker that can go into the military gung-ho probably went in as an officer. And they get their dick hard because they get to talk down to somebody.
or they went in during 9/11.
Come on.
That was the only time when they felt like we were attacked and they felt like, oh, I'm gonna go fight for my homeland. That was the only people I saw gun ho.
And those motherfuckers got a rude awakening.
And in fact, we were being active duty at the time. We were annoyed by those people. Like, now you want to join the military, man? Get the fuck on somewhere. I don't respect you. You're 27 years old and you joining the military now? Like, fuck off. That's how we felt towards those people. Like, now you want to, man, get on with that patriotic. Oh, I'm patriotic now. The military needs me. They don't fucking need you. In fact, most of the people, once they've been in and they get through A school and they get to their first command, it's literally no different than being at a normal fucking job. That's what it feels like. It feels like getting up, put on your uniform, go in and work at a normal fucking job. That's what it feels like. There's nobody that's telling you drop and give me 50 every 5 seconds and all that. That's boot camp. That's it. That's a couple of months. Once you're in, it is just like going to a normal fucking job. The only time you ever know anything's going on is if you were at a yeah, true. I mean, touche. Normal job until you're stuck on the boat for 11 months. Well, when you're stuck on the boat, that don't feel like, when you're on the boat anywhere, that doesn't feel like a normal job at all. When you're out to sea.
But that shit that they're going through right now is completely abnormal. Yeah. What they're dealing with right now is beyond abnormal. It's low-key torture. Like, I'm not even trying to be facetious at all. That is torture. They are torturing those kids.
These motherfuckers, I guarantee you, there is no patriotic person on that ship.
No, you're not going to have a single one of those motherfuckers coming off saying they're proud to be an American. I promise you.
You can guarantee also This right here is going to spark a ton of people to not join the military. And the fastest way to advertise is word of mouth. You're about to have about 7,000 people coming home who are pissed the fuck off.
Let's
You're
pray that
about to
it's
have some of the
7,000. Let's pray.
well, yeah. I mean, you're about to have a bunch of people who like yeah, that is a good thing. It's like my experiences and what I saw in the military made me join an activist group against the military, against war, because I knew that there were plenty of people who were going to join the military who had the same mentality that I did. The mentality that I did is I went to a school where we had refugee kids who came over who survived bombing and mass graves and a genocide going on. They survived that to come over and say, if it wasn't for the U.S. military, I would probably be dead. That's the message that I got over and over and over from the kids who I went to school with. The kids who were coming over from Bosnia, the kids who were coming over from Sarajevo and all those other places. I mean, this is what I was seeing firsthand. Being 16, 17 years old, these kids who are coming from a war-torn area saying, thank God for American troops. And just like I said, in the military, it's compartmentalized. We can be doing good on this one side and doing a whole lot of bad on this other hand. And both hands have no clue what the other one's doing. And then at the same token, I had, okay, well, I'm not going to be able to go to college on scholarship like I planned. My grades aren't that good. What the fuck am I going to do? I live in an area where there's not a lot of economic opportunity. What the fuck am I going to do with myself? I had no plans for what I'm going to do with the future. Zero. What kind of future am I going to have? And then you have the military coming along. Man, we give you a little bit of college money. We give you a skill. Boom, you get right out. You'll be making good money in no time. That's very, very enticing when you grow up in a gang-infested area where your friends are getting shot and killed. Stay in a hell zone with no plans and possibly get wrapped up in some bullshit, or get the hell away from here and possibly get college money, get to travel a bunch of places, get money, and then get out and go to college. Very easy to convince a person when they're sitting in what they feel like is dire straits. Yeah, oh, I knew a bunch of immigrants also. Good point, back cookies. I knew a bunch of people who were enticed to join the military to get citizenship. I know a bunch that got citizenship. And just for them to end up getting fucking deported by Trump. I mean, my recruiters, all they talked about is, man, you know what it's like in Australia? Man, when I was over there in Japan, boy, I had a great time. I was doing this and doing that. And when you're a kid growing up in a boring Midwest city, where you basically outside of family dragging you along on trips for you to be able to see anything else, that's your only opportunity that you believe that you'll ever see anything outside of where you live on your own. So they have very motivating factors to get people to join, and a lot of ammunition for impoverished kids. Because when somebody's in the desert, it's easy to give them muddy water and tell them that it's the best thing ever. But I guess that's. I don't want to turn every show into defending, young people who join the military unknowingly. I guarantee you, most of the people who I know who join the military By the time they got out of the military, their viewpoints are very different on the military and our government as a whole. You can't sue the recruiters. That's why they put that into the contract. Why do you think you know how long the contract is that you sign?
Baby, I think thick as the Bible.
I literally sat there. I changed my signature during my paperwork that I was signing because my hand was starting to hurt from all the signatures. I think I signed paperwork for like 4 to 5 hours straight. Oh yeah, I saw that. Yonina. They just Iran just put a 30K hit on U.S. soldiers.
What?
Yep. They said, hey, 30K per head.
Well, I mean, shit, they the only motherfuckers rebuilding their bridge. The Francis Key Scott Bridge ain't gonna get rebuilt till 2030. Iran done rebuilt all their shit that we blew up already.
Yep. Oh shoot, that's right. I guess I'll go on to my last story that I have. Hopefully, this one we can all be on board with. I mean, I know that y'all not like coming at us about it, but we're allowed to be a family and disagree on some things from time to time.
Yeah, we
And I
still
know
love
y'all
y'all.
don't want to be us. We still love y'all.
Yeah, we still love y'all. We love every last one of you, especially you, Uncle Warren. We love you. For Sage. Remember when me and Bad Cookies was going at it? I love Bad Cookies. Makes me think outside the box, and hopefully I can make them think outside their box too.
Yep, that is the importance of having a diverse audience.
Yes.
Man, I don't know if you heard about this story too.
What story?
But I heard about it. Somebody was like, "Oh, the Lakers got sold again."
They got sold. Who bought them?
I'm glad you asked that question. So let's start off here. The Los Angeles Lakers, a record-setting $12.5 billion sale to Josh Kushner and Bob Iger, reportedly came together in only about 72 hours. The timing of it all was really shocking, but investigative journalist Pablo Torre believes there was much more happening around the franchise than the sale itself. Now, let me stop it right there. Did you hear what I said?
Kushner.
Mm-hmm. And did you hear the other name?
Say the last name again.
Iger. Bob Iger.
What the fuck?
You know who Bob Iger is? Disney?
Yeah, I know.
Uh-huh. Keep in mind, the Lakers were just sold 9 months ago.
Y'all, all this shit rigged any goddamn way at this point. I'm convinced.
So keep following me. Keep following. Oh, that's funny. Lady said, the second I saw that story about the Lakers, I thought of you. Because I heard this at work the other day. I was like, and I didn't think much about it. And till maybe like a day or so later, like 2 days later, I was like, wait, what? Who bought it? Wait a minute. What's going on? Hold on. Let's look more into this. So let me read a little bit more for you. Mark Walter had bought the controlling stake of the stake from the Buss family in June 2025, when the Lakers were valued at $10 billion. Just 14 months later, Walter then handed the stake over, giving his investment group a potential $2.5 billion return. But the money was not only the part that caught Torre's attention. Speaking on Breaking Point podcast, he pointed to two separate storylines involving Walter's business interests. President Donald Trump of the and the group that ultimately took control of the Lakers. Ah, man. The Lakers sale came at an unusual time for Walter. At first, Torrey described the speed of the transaction as frankly inexplicable. Then he moved on to the tension surrounding Walter's business empire, TWG Global, and other Guggenheim related holdings, including the Los Angeles Dodgers, Chelsea FC, and Cadillac F1. These are the other things that he owns. He owns the Dodgers and the Chelsea football team and the Cadillac Formula One team, where they were
Right.
facing debt leverage issues tied to those assets. So, Tory revealed that the complainant at the center of the matter was tied to a huge difference in reported revenue. Those allegations were part of an ongoing federal investigation, which many believe was behind Walter's decision to sell an asset like the Lakers. The 23-year-old reported then brought in the Donald Trump connection, detailing that just days after financial allegations surfaced in July, Walter went to the White House as the owner of the World Series winning Dodgers. Torrey noticed that Walter not only gave him a championship jersey, which is normal, but gave Trump a World Series ring.
Wow. But
Yeah,
didn't the Dodgers not like? Didn't they boycott going to see him anyway?
some of the players did, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Walter is embroiled in the middle of an investigation right now, a federal investigation. He sells off the Lakers all of a sudden, and he's trying to butter up to Trump in the White House by giving him a World Series ring. Now, I don't know for people who are listening to that don't understand why that sounds weird. They normally give a jersey. They never give a present like a ring, like a team ring. That's like unheard of, like never happens. And these rings are not cheap for those who don't know. These rings are very, very expensive. So the fact that he gave Trump
I mean,
this
from one
expensive,
federal indictment Dodger to another, ha ha ha, get it, Dodgers, federal case. Yeah, they're both federal Dodgers.
mm-hmm, and then selling the team to Donald Trump's
His homeboy.
basically nephew-in-law.
His homeboy. Yeah.
Basically,
Isn't
because
this like a version of lobbying? Isn't this lobbying?
Josh Kushner is Jared Kushner, his son-in-law's brother. So he gives him the ring, and he sells the team into basically the Trump empire in a sense through Josh Kushner. I don't know. Y'all follow all that?
Yeah, I followed it. I'm here.
I said, what? This is wild. This is wild. And now a lot of people are worried that with Josh Kushner and Bob Iger possibly running this team into the ground. Now, one of the stipulations that was signed in the contract that Walter signed with Jeannie Bush is that she would control day-to-day basketball operations. And it looks like right now there's a possibility she might be getting forced out the door.
You know they don't like
But,
women in charge.
I don't feel as bad for it because it's like, you know, your father would be rolling in his fucking grave, right? That you fucking sold the team, you dumbass. Why the fuck would you sell that team?
You sold the Lakers, bitch.
You sold the Lakers. You basically sold your inheritance away for what? For what? I mean, you could have sold some of the shares of it away and stay the majority owner and pass this down to like your kids or your nephews, nieces, something. I'll never understand somebody who would say, you know what, I'm gonna just toss that away for what? So it's rumored and believed that Walter might be doing this because he knows that the federal indictment is coming for him, and it's a strong possibility that he might be looking at some Fed time and might need a pardon down the road. and that he's trying to butter Trump up ahead of time before a pardon. Oh shit! What you talking about in there? Chris say something about Jacob and Esau. What you talking about? I don't know. What's your thoughts on it, Teal? This is pretty much all I got. I'm ready to get ready to wrap up. But what's your thoughts on this?
I mean, if you want to sell your soul to the Trump empire, by all means, go ahead and get it going in the fiery depth pits of hell. Like I'm with it. Do what you need to do. I'm not a Lakers fan any fucking way, so it doesn't fucking matter.
I mean, I haven't really followed the NBA much, over the years.
Too floppy for me.
Yep.
Too floppy for me.
When your so-called supposed to be greatest player flops all over the ground, travels, can't barely fucking dribble, and y'all consider him the greatest player in the NBA, then
Yeah, no, I'm a Iverson fan till the day I die. So like I've seen. I mean, this is like I'm not surprised. I just want to know what next season is on. Like, are we killing this motherfucker like Joffrey yet, or what? Yeah, hurry up and kill these motherfuckers like Joffrey already.
Like, what is taking so long? Good Lord.
Serious, what is fucking taking so fucking long, man?
Oh, did you hear that there was a real assassination attempt on Trump?
Oh, God, I don't believe it. I told you I'm not going to believe any of them until he gets clapped. Almost ain't good for nothing but horseshoes and hand grenades.
True.
I ain't trying to hear it. But this time
Trump, they smuggled him off the plane in a in a catering cart. I would have loved to see Trump fitting his fat ass into a catering cart, trying to sneak away.
So, literally pooped himself.
Oh yeah, he was probably scared for real now.
Yeah,
he's like, oh shit, I've been playing, fake assassination all this time. Now they really coming for me. It's like I'm like, y'all need to be doing a better job, man. Y'all need to put in work. Although what's waiting behind him is not much better.
Well, shit, that ain't got nothing to do with me. Let him find that shit out. I don't give a fuck about none of that.
I just think the midterms can't come fast enough.
Jesus.
Oh, Lord. I know maybe y'all hate the Democrats, and I ain't got no love for them either, but I'd rather just get back to at least people acting like normal people for a while.
That's not happening. That's never happening again. The normalcy is not coming back, bro. The normalcy is not coming back. After Fauci fucking pled the fifth so fucking much and motherfuckers still can't swallow that, I shouldn't have got that vaccine fucking bullet in their motherfucking throat. I ain't trying to hear it.
Okay, well maybe we won't get normal, but I just don't want to have. I just don't want to hear from my president. I don't want to hear the president on TV every 5 fucking minutes just saying a bunch of bullshit. Good Lord, it's just I'm used to like presidents just lying and saying a bunch of nonsense, but this is too much. But this dude, this shit's too much. It's like, dude, well, we accept a certain amount of lying, but the level of lying that you do is it's starting to piss me off. I dealt with Biden lying. I dealt with your lying in the first years, and it was like, okay, at least he ain't doing shit, so he just lying to lie. Now you're lying and it's having a lot of consequences. It's like, I'd rather fucking weaken at Bernie's ass Biden right now. Give me the president who's half dead, who's never on TV. That's the dude I want. I don't want to hear your bullshit. I'm so tired of your illiterate ass, fat, gross ass on TV talking shit. Just shut the fuck up. I mean, if you could pray to watch somebody get punched in the face, I don't think it's anybody I would enjoy watching getting punched in the face more than Donald Trump.
my God, speaking of punch in the face, I was in Georgia this weekend or whatever, and the Ray J Orlando Brown fight happened.
Oh Lord, I was wondering which fight you were talking about.
Ray J and Orlando Brown.
Did they fight on the undercard at Clarissa Shield?
I think so.
Oh Lord, because I was like, I
Go watch
watched the
the clip.
Clarissa
It's
Shield fight.
hilarious.
I saw some of it, and I'm like, these men are embarrassing. I honestly would like to fight them both at the same time. I think that would be fun.
That shit's sad. But yeah, they were out in Georgia. They were in Atlanta doing that shit. It was hilarious.
I mean, I watched. Oh, did you watch the main fight?
No, I didn't. I was out in the streets getting drunk with my friends and shit. But my bestie is getting married in October, and I'm the best woman because he doesn't have a best man. I'm his best man. And so I put together the bachelor party. Woo.
Okay,
So,
all right.
So yeah, this is the first time I've ever like held weight in a wedding, and so far I'm doing a really good job being the best woman.
Man, I watched. I don't know for who saw it. Like,
and by the way, guys, before Marcus, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but beforehand, I'm going through a bad area of Southern Virginia. So if I lose service or my shit just like pops off, just want to say I love each and every one of y'all. John, if you're in the chat, yes, I'll be more than happy to help you. Email me, teapotz2224@icloud.com. Again, I love each and every one of y'all. Thank y'all for coming in this weekend and watching our show. You could have been anywhere else, but you're here with us. So I appreciate all of y'all. Love you guys. All right, go ahead, Marcus. That's just if my phone cuts off, but go ahead, Marcus.
Okay. Yeah, Bad Cookies. I saw Bad Cookies said, I thought we was watching what we say on the channel. Marcus just went, I can't help it. I mean, that dude just, I don't know, man. There's something about him that just irritates me more than anybody else. I have a hard time like holding back when he don't even have to be really saying nothing bad. I just hate his voice at this point.
Marcus don't even want this motherfucker to breathe wrong.
Yeah, it's like, do you have to breathe on every breath?
Stop breathing right now. And you got to breathe on every breath? God damn. Hold your breath.
I can't stand that man at all. I just can't stand him at all. And then I look at the people who put him in office like, are you really the dumbest people on earth? Are you guys the dumbest people on earth? Because there's no way you could try to tell me, well, I didn't know it was going to be like. He told every fucking one of y'all what it's going to be. He told you what it's going to be. And then all the people who be trying to cope. Well, Kamala would, man, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Don't play that game. He's here now due to your negligence. Don't try to play the reverse. Well, she would have did this. You don't know what the fuck she would have done. I think she would have done a lot of shit, but we wouldn't have been in fucking Iran. I guarantee you that much. And you know how I know we wouldn't have been there? Because every other president before us was smart enough to tell Netanyahu to fuck off. Every other one. Y'all think that this is new? That Netanyahu trying to beg a president? He tried this with Biden. He tried this with Obama. He tried this with Bush, Bush Jr. and Bush Sr. This dude he tried this with Clinton. That's 5 presidents I've named that this motherfucker tried the same shit. Trump almost fell for it the first time around. But his advisors told him no. So miss me with that. Well, Kamala would do. No. She would have done a lot of dumb, stupid shit. But just understand, yes, y'all voted for and settled for the worst fucking option imaginable. Yep, that's right, Bad Cookies. And he fired those advisors. He fired every person who was trying to tell him not to do dumb shit. He said, I don't care what y'all say. I want to do the dumbest shit possible. And I imagine, you guys got to imagine, there's people who were still holding back this time around. All I look at is that Trump has shown that he is the dumbest president we've ever had. And it's not even close. And all you got to do is throw some money at him, flatter him just a little bit, and he'll do whatever the fuck you want to. It's easy to wrap him around your fingers because he stands for nothing and he's a fucking moron. And on top of being a moron, he's not smart enough to even know that he's not smart. See, I miss the days when people knew what they knew and they knew what they didn't know. But now we live in this new age. And I don't know if Trump leads it or he just happened to be the right president for the age we're in. Because I see a whole lot of people out there who can't come to terms with, you know what? I'm not an expert on this. Everybody is a fucking expert on everything now. And it's one of the things that annoys me the most about the time period we live in. No humility where somebody can say, you know what? I know about this, and I'll let these other people who know about this other thing, I'll let them speak. But nope, everybody's a fucking know-it-all on every goddamn thing. And that's why we're in the dire straits that we're in right now. But let's see. On a positive note, how do I end this on a positive note? Football's back, so we have bread and circuses that can help distract us as the world keeps circling that big drain. I don't know. That's where I am. Anybody else got anything that they can add to end this on a positive note? Exactly. Bread and circus time. I'm with it. Give me some more things where I can kill my brain with. I'm a Niners fan. Hell no. Hell no. Not a Niners fan. I'm a Chiefs fan. Although I don't hate the Niners. There's only a couple of teams. There's only a couple of NFL teams I absolutely hate. One of those being the New England Patriots. The other one being the Denver Broncos. Oh yeah, I look forward to. I mean, you know what? I think I might actually finally do another one of my first reaction videos on my other channel. Cowboys fan. Ooh, it's tough. How are you a Cowboys fan? I mean, I've never had no problem with the Cowboys, but damn, that's rough. That is rough. How you have almost every year you're the top team, almost every year, and there's shit the bed at the end. That's rough. But yeah, bad cookies, you wouldn't like it out here. Like, I would say probably easily half of the office, half of my office, half of my company probably are Niners fans. I got one Bears fan who works in the office with me. Because my company's headquarters is actually closer to that Bay Area. It started, the Green Lantern series started? Well, I got something to watch. Well, I gotta finish watching Daredevil first. Say, I'm on a way to a small club to listen to live music. What kind of music you gonna listen to, Kate? I'm very partial to live jazz music. I love live jazz. something about those environments. It's really cool. Got Packers all the way. Okay. Yeah, House of the Dragons is dope. Speaking of House of the Dragon, I just got my book set for the Game of Thrones books. Uh-oh. Got a football rivalry in the chat. If I got a guy who I work with, Laney, he loves 80s music, and he listens to a lot of 80s covers bands on the weekend. But yeah, I was my book set that I just got for somebody was talking about House of the Dragons. I got first book Game of Thrones, Clash of Kings, A Storm of Swords, Feast for Crows, and A Dance with Dragons. I got the 5-book set right here. I wish that man would finish it. Wish he would finish it. But for those who like Game of Thrones, who probably aren't going to read the books, but enjoy the story, I have an audio book that I suggest. Oh shoot, I'm sorry. No, I muted out. My bad. I forgot I was on my phone and I just can't click right over. Um, it's from Pocket FM, and very similar. It's called My Dragon System. My Dragon System Awakening. But yeah, I guess I will go on ahead and end it on that note. Yeah, but thank you all. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Hopefully my signal and everything is better. Next week, I don't know, I'll try a couple of things, and hopefully it's a great rest of the week for you. Great rest of the weekend for those who have some weekend left, and wish you all a great and wonderful week. I guess Till's not in there, but holler at you later. Thank you all much. Much love to everybody, and talk to you later. Peace.
There is discrimination in this world, and slavery and slaughter and starvation. Governments repress their people. Millions are trapped in poverty, while the nation grows rich, and wealth is lavished on armaments everywhere. These are differing evils, but they are the common works of man. They reflect the imperfection of human justice, the inadequacy of human compassion, our lack of sensibility towards the suffering of our fellows. But we can perhaps remember, even if only for a time, those who live with us are our brothers, that they share with us the same short moment of life, that they seek as we do, nothing but the chance to live out their lives in purpose and happiness, winning what satisfaction and fulfillment they can.